How did you feel when you finally got that call and realized that you would be on the team?
Well, initially, because it was disappointing in the very beginning. So I'm thinking, well, I got my summer off. I had made plans to enjoy the summer, and so now when they call, now you got to stop those plans. You're going to be working all summer, playing on the dream team. But it was a great choice. I made it willingly. It was a great opportunity. We had so much fun and so much success that team will never be forgotten.
You mentioned that you had gone to the NBA Finals that year. You played Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Did you go right from the NBA Finals into the Dream Team?
I had about a week or two off, maybe. I don't remember, Ken. It's hard to remember what happened last week, let alone in 1992. I mean, it's a long time ago. But it was 30 years ago. But great memories nonetheless. That team was crazy special. With had David Robinson, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Chris Mullin, Scottie Pippen, Charles Patrick Ewing, Michael, Magic, and Larry. I mean, that team was stacked. Christian Laettner, a lot of great players.
What was it like to have played against the guys on the Dream Team and all of a sudden now they're your teammates? What was that transition like?
Well, Ken, it was interesting, but we're professionals. It's what we do. We play against guys all the time that we play with in the All-Star games. So it was very similar to that.
When you went to Barcelona, what was that like? Because you were rock stars. You guys were rock stars. That was the team that everybody wanted to see and be around. So what was that environment like?
Ken, it was surreal. I mean, that team was wildly popular. We had a huge amount of people following us everywhere we went. We went to Monaco. We went to San Diego for a couple of weeks, even before we went to Barcelona to compete. And so we were practicing the whole time. And so we, had a lot of fanfare for good reason, and just so much attention on that team at all times. And the culminating result was a gold medal for the United States, which was tremendous.
How meaningful was it for you that the first international competition for the Dream Team was here in Portland at the Tournament of the Americas?
Well, it was great. Obviously, Portland's the best place in the world for NBA action. And now the Olympics are in Portland. Come on. The fans were nuts. They went crazy. We had a great time. And the games, I forgot who we played in Portland, but it was a non-contest. It was over before it began. And Portland was great. It was a tremendous host city. Everybody commented on how well the city had treated them and hosted that event.
The other part of it was that during that time in 1992, Portland was basically the center of the basketball world because that was the first time that they had the NBA draft here. You guys had gone to the finals. First time the Dream Team played was here in Portland. 30 years later, I've never had such a good time as a basketball fan as I did when 1992 rolled around. Did you get that feeling, that vibe too, being a player?
Absolutely, Ken. It was the mecca of the world. And small town Portland, Oregon, we were in a small market. I had the attention of the world focusing on our city. So that was historic from that perspective, right? That reached millions of people around the world. And so we were Portland proud, we were Oregon proud.
When you look back after 30 years of the Dream Team, do you really internalize the impact that team had? You changed basketball. That team changed basketball and how people looked at the game.
Well, Ken, that team changed basketball around the world. But in this country, everyone knew what the real deal was. The best players are in the NBA. Everyone knew that. But that solidified that statement around the world in a big way, in a meaningful way, to where the people around in other parts of the world knew they were not even close to competing. And if you wanted to get better, you had to go to the United States to work with people to improve your game. And so that's what happened. And that's why you see so many good European players in the NBA today. A lot of them were trained not only in their countries, but also in our country as well. And so they grew up watching the greats and the legends of the game. And so they were able to mimic and work on their game just the way we had.
I'm sure you've seen the specials that have been done over the years about the Dream Team, you know, about Michael Jordan. There's been some books written and all of that. Do you look fondly upon that time, even though it was so long ago?
All of that, you know, it was a magical time, a moment in time to play against some of the greatest players to ever play. That was a golden era. And so all the stuff that's been written, it doesn't change the fact that what happened back then happened. Don't, you know, sometimes you see stuff and players have gotten better since they've retired. You know, it's like, hold up, we used to beat those guys all the time. but for the most part, the integrity is what we all focus on. And I really enjoyed my era playing against the guys we played against, you know, Magic, Kareem, Julius, Hakeem, Karl Malone, Michael, Bird. I mean, those guys were all phenomenal players. I wouldn't change it for all the tea in China. Kareem, I mean, the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Come on. Did it get any better?
Well, I imagine that your practices, well, this is a no-brainer. Your practices were probably pretty intense because the competition was within you guys because you knew you were going to beat everybody else. So tell me what those practices were like.
Well, Ken, a lot has been made of those practices, but I got to tell you, I had a knee injury. And so I was one of those guys, I was just trying to survive. I had hurt my knee in March. And so I was just trying to get through the NBA season and then the playoffs. And I'm playing on one leg all this time. I'm getting my knee drained. I need surgery. And I'm like, well, I can't do it now because I got the playoffs. I can't do it now because of the Olympics. And so anything extra, I was not trying to do, trust me. And so I was just trying to survive and participate. But as soon as that campaign was over, I ended up getting the surgery. And it took me 2 years to get back healthy, if you can remember. And so I was just not in the mindset of beating up on my teammates in practice.
Sure.
But there were some guys who were, and they made it really competitive. And it was fun to watch because I was on the sideline watching.
Now you got to name names, man. Who had the most competition within the Dream Team?
No. You know, Michael and Magic are very competitive. And they always had something going. And it was just funny to watch it day in and day out. It was great.
Well, you know, people look upon that as kind of the passing of the torch, you know, from the Magic Johnson era to the Michael Jordan era. Did you see it that way?
Well, I don't know. Magic didn't play that year, right?
Right.
And so that was 92. So he didn't play that year. The torch might have been passed a year or two early. Earlier.
Well, you went to 2 NBA finals here. You finally won one when you got back with your Phi Slamma Jamma partner, Akeem Olajuwon, in Houston. You've won an Olympic gold medal. You're a Hall of Famer twice because you're a Hall of Famer as an individual player, and the entire Dream Team was inducted into the Hall of Fame. When you look back on your career, you were pretty good.
I got lucky, Ken. I got lucky. Had some great teammates. We had a great organization. Management was on top of their game. We were able to get some good players to compete together while everyone was in their prime. And although we didn't have like 4 or 5 number 1 picks on the team at the same time, like some teams, we had some great players and they gave it everything they had. Guys like Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth, guys I love. I mean, Terry Porter. I mean, you can't say enough about those guys. We had Drazen Petrovic, Cliff Robinson. I mean, some incredible Mark Bryant, just some good role players and guys who knew the game. We had great coaches with Rick Adelman and his staff, Bucky Buckwalter, Harry Glickman. I mean, all these great guys, phenomenal guys, good memories.
We've only got a little bit of time left, but I want to ask you about what you're doing now. You're still the commissioner of the Big Three. Tell me how that league has progressed over the years. It's a pretty popular game. I watched the Big Three, and where do you think that's going to go from here?
Big Three is the best professional sports in the summer. It's professional basketball, 3-on-3, and the fans love it. The players love playing it. It's immensely fun to watch in person. If you've ever seen a game, those guys give you everything they have. They hustle. Our game is physical, kind of like 80s NBA, because we don't let them get away with going under your arm and creating contact to get to the line. You got to make a real basketball move to get to the free throw line. So it's about integrity. It's about playing hard and made the best team win. You know, the Big Three is founded by Ice Cube and his business partner, Jeff Quantness. And I'm the commissioner, equity partner, and it's been a lot of fun. We've been doing it going on, I think, 5 or 6 years. And the Big Three is here to stay. Check it out, big3.com. We'll be on CBS this year. And so you know all about that, Ken, and it's a lot of fun. You can't miss it.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Clyde Drexler, Hall of Famer, Blazer great, Dream Teamer. Appreciate you dialing in and speaking with us.
Anytime, Ken. I wish you continued success and say hello to all of my buddies and friends and neighbors and just the great people in the state of Oregon.
Thank you
Take
very
care.
much, Clyde. Take care.